It's a freak anomaly, a weird malfunction in the world's currency markets, revealed for the first time by an ex-Soviet physicist, mathematician, and day trader. And when you discover it for yourself in the next few minutes, you unlock the ability to earn $500 to $700 a day fully on autopilot, with returns like this, and this, and this. If you've ever wanted to unlock the freedom lifestyle for yourself or your family, now is the time to pay close attention. My name is Frank Norton, and up until a year ago, I was a high school English professor in Columbus, Ohio. It was the best job I'd ever had. I had good pay, with benefits, a pension plan for retirement, even 2 months of vacation in the summer. And I absolutely hated it. Because even though I wasn't on starvation rations or struggling to support my wife and 2 kids, the job was destroying my soul. I hated my principal. I hated my commute, and I really hated the total lack of freedom and control I had over my own life. I needed to find a way out, but I had no idea where to look. Little did I know that I was only days away from discovering the answer at a teachers' conference in Dallas, Texas. An answer that would shatter the chains of my 9-to-5 life and make me a tremendously wealthy man many times over, with a bank account that looks like this. But that's exactly where I found it, hidden at the bottom of a vodka bottle with a secretive ex-Soviet math genius known as Dr. Vladimir X. I'd love to tell you his full name, but Vladimir is a very private man. You won't find his biography in any Google search. You won't find him on LinkedIn. He doesn't have a Facebook profile or Twitter account. He certainly doesn't podcast. We only met through an odd twist of fate. I happened to sit beside him purely by chance for a session on design frameworks for unit and lesson planning. And yes, the talk was as eye-glazingly boring as it sounds. It turns out that Vladimir had grown up in the USSR. He'd only come to America when the Cold War ended, and he was finally free to leave the country. As a young man, he went to the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. Think of it as the Soviet version of MIT. And almost immediately after graduating, he was snatched up by the military for a top-secret weapons program, helping design the cockpit for the latest generation of MiG fighter jets. When the Iron Curtain fell in 1991, the defense spending dried up, and Vladimir was on the first plane out of Russia, on his way to a brand new life in the United States as a high school math teacher. But teaching algebra to bored teenagers was only his day job. His real passion ever since he'd arrived in America, the birthplace of capitalism, was trading in the stock, commodity, and forex markets. Since 2008, he is focused exclusively on trading so-called binary options. Now, I had never heard of binary options before, but Vladimir explained that they were a financial tool anyone can use to make bets on the direction of major currencies. You can bet as little as $5, and if the price goes where you think it will, you win $10. Apparently, he'd been trading them for years, and his results, well, take a look at this. That's a screenshot of Vladimir's bank balance on the day we met. He was sitting on a cool $1,058,686. When I saw it, I was stunned. I needed to know how he had done it, and if there was any hope that I could get in on the action. I begged and I pleaded, and after another glass or 2 of vodka, Vladimir finally gave in. First of all, he said, you need to understand that our free markets aren't really free. You see, in real free markets, without government intervention, it's almost impossible to trade profitably. Short-term price movements are random, and long-term swings can't be predicted with better than 50-50 accuracy. It's like gambling. Only since the housing collapse and financial crisis in 2008, the currency markets have been anything but free. Central banks like the Federal Reserve in the United States and the ECB in Europe have intervened aggressively, printing money, buying up debt, devaluing their currencies. And don't let them tell you it's for the little guy. Every step they've taken has been to bail out their crony buddies on Wall Street, at multi-billion-dollar investment banks like Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. It's almost as corrupt as the old Soviet-era central planning committees. But because of these interventions, the world is now locked in a currency war where every government tries to make its currency more competitive than its neighbors. So when Japan devalues, you know that South Korea will follow soon after. It's a big mess, but it's also given rise to the very market malfunction that Vladimir has used for over 6 years to make his money – the convergence anomaly. If that sounds complicated, don't worry, it's actually pretty simple. Basically, currencies that used to trade independently have started trending in the same direction as one another. So instead of random, unpredictable movement, you have many of the world's currencies converging into a single price pattern. Over the last year, for example, if the British pound went up or down, there was an 81% chance that the Australian dollar would trade with it. Meanwhile, the Danish kroner followed the US dollar a stunning 94% of the time. That's created an enormous opportunity. Think about it. If the US dollar trades up, you know the kroner will too, with 94% accuracy. So you can place a binary option bet and double your money 9 times out of 10. It's the same thing with the pound and the Aussie dollar. If one drops, you know the other will too, giving you a safe bet you can win 8 times out of 10. Those are odds that even the Vegas casinos don't have working in their favor. Odds that give you a staggering win rate of 80%, 90%, or even more. There's just one catch. These opportunities are only open for a few seconds, maybe a minute at most. If you want to catch them, you have to be lightning quick, so quick that it's not realistic for a human trader to take advantage of them. Fortunately, Vladimir has solved that problem with a tool he calls Convergence Sniper, an automated trading system that captures profitable convergence opportunities in the blink of an eye. When you turn it on, it scans markets in real time, spotting currencies that are trading in the same pattern. Then it waits for an opening, a window where one of the currencies moves and the other needs to catch up. That's when it swoops into action. It places a binary option trade for you, with no action required on your part, and a few minutes later, you've doubled your money. And because it knows in advance how tightly these currencies trade together, it only takes trades with 80% accuracy or better. And just to show you that's not a fluke, here are some more trades the system took in just the last week. It is, in short, the closest thing in the world to a perpetual money machine. Now, Vladimir did explain that there are other automated trading tools, or so-called robots out there, but almost all of them are trend-following systems that only work in calm markets, when stocks or currencies are stable. If you've paid any attention over the last 6 years, you know that markets have actually been highly unstable, and that every week brings another Greece, another China, or another devastating Apple earnings report. When the market starts whipsawing back and forth, all of those other automated traders get crushed, bleeding money like a stuck pig. But that's not a problem with the convergence trading Vladimir focuses on. That's because when crisis strikes and volatility spikes, this system actually performs better. Remember the week the Dow Jones dropped 530 points in one day? It was the worst week for stocks since 2011. While most traders on Wall Street ate their shirts, Vladimir was busy earning windfall profits. It's easy to see why. In a crisis situation, central banks start intervening more, not less. So if there's bad news out of China or Greece misses a debt payment, the Federal Reserve and the ECB spring into action, and the convergence anomaly gets worse. That means your accuracy and your profits skyrocket. At this point in his story, we were both a little tired, and honestly a little tipsy, so we decided to call it a night. We exchanged contact details, and I didn't see him again for the rest of the conference. But just a week later, I checked my inbox. Inside, I discovered the most important email of my life. It was from Vladimir. He'd sent me a copy of Convergence Sniper with instructions on how to use it. "This'll change your life, my friend." And boy, did it. The first week I tested trading, I made $370 in my first week. Once I'd witnessed for myself how real this was, I took it to the next level. I started placing $100 trades, and soon I was earning well over $1,000 a day in pure profit. Now keep in mind that this was all happening while I continued working my day job as a high school English teacher. I told myself I'd be responsible. I'd wait 6 months, and if it was still working, I'd quit my job. When that day came, I was on cloud 9. I pulled up to the school in a fully tricked-out BMW 760. I walked right into the principal's office and I handed him my notice. The look on his face was priceless. In that moment, I knew I'd finally made it. But I wasn't completely satisfied yet. I knew many of my friends and family were still stuck in the same 9-to-5 grind. So I emailed Vladimir and I asked him for permission to share his amazing invention with a handful of associates. Thankfully, he said yes. Over the next few months, I watched thousands of non-traders earn a full-time passive income with Convergence Sniper. I'm talking men and women, young and old, folks who, in many cases, never bought a stock in their life, much less considered day trading, and yet here they were, harvesting a consistent income from the market, like $707.52 in the first 3 days from Carl Lundberg.
I was skeptical at first, but it really, really works.
Or $13,922.27 in 1 month from Abby Denton.
This software has literally changed my life.
And $92,118.44 in 3 months from Richard White, who literally hates computers.
Frank made it so easy to use. If you're on the fence, you need to try it.
Every single one of them has either already quit their day job or is now planning to do it in the next few months. They're finally free to live the life they want, wherever they want, with the people that truly matter to them. It's a real-life financial miracle. That brings me to the promise I made at the start of this video. I told you that you would have the opportunity to unlock $500 to $700 per day in profit. So here's the deal. I recently asked Vladimir for permission to share Convergence Sniper with the rest of the world, to give thousands of people the opportunity that he'd given me. And because he has no love for the central banks or their billionaire cronies, he said yes, with a few tiny conditions. First, he made me swear never to reveal his identity. He lives a quiet life in a small town where no one bothers him, and the idea of CNBC or the Wall Street Journal knocking down his door for an interview is his worst nightmare. Second, and this was his most important condition, he told me to only give the software away to people who've proven they are serious about using it. So if you're a tire kicker or if you can't make a decision to save your life, you won't get access. But if you want to get a copy of Convergence Sniper and unlock $500 to $700 per day of low-risk trading profits, this is what you need to do. Simply click Join Now, and I'll see you on the other side. Sincerely, Frank Norton.